Welcome back to the Montana Grizzly Leadership Project. My name is Charlie Palmer, and you are joining us today for episode 6. Today's guest is Coach Jimmy Mee, who heads up the University of Montana's women's golf team. Jimmy was named head coach in December of 2023 after working for 2 seasons as an assistant coach for the program under the direction of the legendary Kris Nord. Coach Mee, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Super excited you're able to join us. So right to it, what has this transition from assistant to head coach been like for you? I can only assume it's massive.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. When you're the assistant, you just get to play. You play golf with the girls. You work with the girls. You're just focused on the golf aspect of it, which is the easy part, honestly. And then transitioning into the head coaching role where you're doing a lot more recruiting. You're doing, obviously, the travel. You're doing all that stuff to go with it, which isn't near as much fun. And then today's day and age with the transfer portal, you're kind of always 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the transfer portal and just trying to figure out kind of where you're going to go next with the team. What's the team going to look like next year? It's kind of a crazy time.
Yeah. So as mentioned in that intro, then, as an assistant under Kris, and we talked about Kris with Jason Brown when he was on, because, of course, Kris coached the
tennis team
for a long period of time, and then decided he wanted to just kind of try something new, and definitely within his wheelhouse to coach golf. So he headed up the women's program for a number of years then.
And we needed some stability. I think it had gotten to be kind of a revolving door in that position there for a little while.
Mm-hmm. And so you had this opportunity then to kind of work under the mentorship of, this 40-plus year coach in Grizzly athletics. So what was that like?
It was really cool to see his interactions with the girls. Obviously, he'd been doing it for a very long time. His way worked. So it was awesome to see just how he interacted, how he ran recruiting trips, how he kind of commanded attention at practice. Just seeing all of those things was awesome. Because I honestly didn't even tell meeting Kris. I didn't even think about and know that this was a possibility to coach golf for a full time and for a living.
Mm-hmm. What sorts of things really stand out to you in terms of like that I just grabbed from him, that just really resonated for you in terms of kind of his leadership approach?
Definitely how he got everyone's attention at practice, and when he said something and when he really needed to get people's attention, like how he was able to grab their attention. And then, even just structure of practice and things like that, I really grabbed onto and liked how he had done it, and just kind of you could kind of see how long you could keep that attention for, and then at what point did we kind of start getting diminishing returns where people, okay, can we go for an hour and a half and be super productive? Once we get to that 2.5 hour mark, was that 45 minutes just kind of a waste of time, or can we still be productive? And just seeing like the structure of that really helped me out.
Okay. And you're also a teaching pro at the Ranch Club in Missoula, so you have to balance kind of multiple worlds.
Yeah, not so much. Ranch Club's awesome. Even to us as a program, they're great. And so it's kind of do whatever out there. Obviously, coaching comes first, and then wherever I can help out there, I just fill in. I do a fair amount of teaching out there in the summer when we're not in season, a couple hours a day or so, get out there. So works out great. They're super flexible. I help them out with whatever when I can, and they understand that when we're in season, I'm super busy and it's not going to work. So it's been really cool out there.
What is life like as a teaching pro? I would assume there's a lot of transferability because you're coaching, you're teaching, you're educating.
Yeah.
And that would go right to working with the girls here.
Yes.
What else in that?
Well, the nice part in my situation, it is not my sole purpose. So, it's not my sole job. So I'm not out there grinding, trying to get 8 hours filled per day so that I can make my paycheck for the week. So I'm kind of lucky in the fact that I get to kind of pick and choose more so who I want to work with. Mm-hmm. And so, I've built up a lot of members that I work with out there over the 4 or 5 years I was out there full time. And so it's kind of nice for me to get to handpick yes, I really like working with these people. They're going to fill out my week, as opposed to just being out there having to grind just so that you can make your weekly/monthly paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Get some hack like me trying to get a lesson to try and get better.
Yeah, it's, it's fun. It's very much a challenge. I've known my niche is more of like the better players, kind of being able to help them more so. I enjoy teaching people right from the start too. That's fun. But it seems like my niche has kind of evolved into working more with some of the better players and kind of diving in and seeing where we can help their games, which honestly kind of correlates great with coaching because all the girls we get in are great players. So it's fine. And it gets harder. As the player gets better, it gets harder to help them. So that's kind of where my niche has kind of been carved out of, like, kind of player development and then continuing to work with some better players.
Yeah, I can only imagine how hard it gets when maybe early on it's maybe pretty straightforward to help somebody find 15 strokes that they can get rid of versus a couple by the time they get to an elite status.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what makes it fun, is kind of really diving in and figuring out, it's like, oh, okay, here's what it is. Now, can we change it? Can we not? If we can, great, we'll change it. If not, let's figure out a way to help you while not maybe making that change that's been hard to work with. Yeah. So it's fun. It's problem solving.
What would you say then after the couple years kind of in the position here of what your leadership philosophy is then?
So we definitely try and kind of let the players, we want it to be the players' team. And golf's so individual that it's cool in college that you actually get the unique experience that you get to be part of a team as well, because golf can be so overbearing and individual that pretty soon you're isolated yourself and you're just working on this. Well, no, we get to be a team. And so we try and be very player driven. We're still kind of going through what we think the perfect scenario is. I think next year it's going to definitely be a little bit more coach dictated in certain areas. We tried to go completely player driven. There were some good things and bad things that came out of it. But next year it's going to be, yes, this is the players' team, but here's the things that we're going to do. Like, we know where you guys need to improve, whether, like, golf's weird. Like, even when you get to be a really, really good player, you think that you need to improve here. You have an outside person look at it, and it's like, no, you need to get better over here. But yet you still need to maintain the strengths that you have, but let's try and shore this up a little bit. So it'll be fun to see, okay, yes, this is your guys' team. You guys, for the most part, run the team dynamic portion. However, here's where we need to get better. Let's meet. Let's talk about it. But this is what we need to improve. Now let's develop a plan to get there.
Mm-hmm. Kind of an explanation of roles. Like, this is what I'm going to do and offer as the head coach, and here's what I'm expecting you as the girls, the ladies, the players to kind of handle from your end.
Yep, we'll do lots of check-ins to make sure everybody's where they need to be, but from there it's like, okay, this is where we struggled, this is where we need to improve, let's go.
Mm-hmm. And that really kind of ties into some of my next questions, which is the first one being is that it just seems like there's so much kind of self-leadership that's necessary in golf in particular. Would you agree with that?
100%.
And if you do, expand on that.
Yeah, I mean, so the weird, or well, the kind of cool part even is when we're going to practice, like, we have 9 individual plans basically. Like basketball, you're going to go run an offense. You need all 5 people on the same page for that offense. But player A hit it great, putted terrible. Player B hit it terrible. Their short game was awesome. So it's like, okay, going into this week, we're not going to have them work on the same things. So player A's going to have to tighten up that short game. So they're going to be spending time only, for the most part, on short game. Player B, it's like, all right, we got to figure out why you couldn't hit the golf ball this week. So it's just a lot of, like, individual meeting. And then, all right, here's our plan for the week. Then we'll devote this plan. We'll go play our event. We'll see where we were at the end of that event. And then, so it's just kind of an ever-changing, basically, plan for practice. And you can't really do just a blanket, like, this is what we're doing today. It's very individualized.
Nor can it be, I assume, just go get 18 in.
Right.
Come back and tell me what it was like.
For sure.
Let me look at your scores. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Because there's not a whole lot of coaching involved in that.
No, and I mean, you do need to play a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But out on the course, we can make it to where we're not just playing to go post a number. We'll get in a situation and it's like, oh, you didn't know how to handle that situation. Great, drop another ball. Let's figure out how to hit this shot. And it's a really good way to kind of fill in the gaps of, because competition you might see 3 holes per person over a 36-hole day. Whereas when they're qualifying and at practice, you can be kind of posted up in the middle and watching and see 8-9 holes per person. And it's like, oh, this is where this person really struggled. This is where this person really thrived. Didn't expect that necessarily. Like, didn't know they had that shot. And it's like, didn't know this person didn't have this shot. And so then you can then go to the range or even just do it on the course if it's slow and get a lot of like on-course practice in, which is honestly the best case scenario.
You played some mini tours and caddied for many years in Arizona before moving back to Montana. You have any good caddy stories? Do you have any good mini tour stories?
Mini tours were a blast. I mean, had so many great friends to this day that we would travel with and play. No real major stories pop in. I mean, there's a lot of heartbreak, a lot of successes that were fun, but just, I mean, what I enjoyed the most was just traveling with buddies and just setting your summer schedule and getting to go play for, I mean, it was obviously stressful when you're playing for a living, but made some great friends. Caddying was a blast. I mean, it was a great way to make money and still get to play, and caddied for, I mean, a vice president, caddied for Michael Phelps, like just getting to see those guys in their element and just get to have normal conversations with them were awesome. Luckily, we never had any. I think I had one guy tip a golf cart over and break an arm. But outside of that, it wasn't no catastrophes, just getting to see really like successful people out just playing golf and get to be themselves was really cool.
Is there much coaching that goes on in that caddy role, or it probably varies?
Combination of both.
Yeah.
Some guys just want you to come ride around with them and maybe read a couple putts for them. Other people will literally hire you to go out and just work with them for 18 holes. It's just you and them. They're getting ready for something. You're going to just go help them out. So
it pays the same, I imagine,
pays the
right?
same. Well, you want to get the guys that are playing good money games and want them to win. Then the pay, your tip increases nicely.
Got it.
But it was, I mean, a lot of just fun meeting a ton of people that you'd never expect to meet and just see them when they're not in their suit and tie and their normal day-to-day life, just being a normal human was really cool.
How about your thoughts on the upcoming 25-26 season? You've got 5 fall events, it looks like, 5 spring events. You're one of those sports here at U of M where you're year-round. I mean, and the sports all are year-round. Pretty much that's the reality. But your competitive season spans both semesters, fall and spring, with the championship being in the spring.
Yep.
But what's that like? And then what are your thoughts on the season coming up?
Great. Like, it's fun to get to be competitive year-round. Like, you never have that lull of, like, well, we're not competing till X date, and it's 6 months away. Like, we're in it. I mean, with the exception of the month I get for Christmas, I mean, we're getting ready to compete almost on a weekly basis. So it's fun it's really easy to keep people engaged. It's like, hey, we got to play in 2 weeks. Like, let's go. And even, it might be snowing outside and we're in the indoor building, but it's like, hey, we can still get a lot of stuff accomplished. Next year's season should be really exciting. I mean, we lost a couple girls to the transfer portal, but we're bringing, I think, of our conference team, there will be 4 returners coming back. We had a really good start to conference again, didn't quite finish how we wanted to. With our freshmen coming in, though, could see them being instant impact, jumping right into the lineup. Attitudes of our incoming freshmen are awesome. Attitudes of our returners are awesome. We should be better next year. It'll be fun to kind of meld the freshmen in with our current group. I feel like our upperclassmen are going to be great role models to kind of show what we want to do moving forward with the program. They're very good players and they're massive contributors to the team, but they also have awesome attitudes. So it's going to be really fun to see how we can bring in the new freshmen who could very easily be in the lineup their first event. So it's going to be exciting. I mean, we're going to still be young and just trying to keep climbing up the ladder of the Big Sky Conference.
Nice. And you mentioned it. What are the challenges of being a cold weather climate in a warm weather sport? Where, right, softball runs into that a little bit, tennis somewhat, but really golf really seems to bear the brunt of that. You've got some mitigators for that with your indoor facility and whatnot, but when perfection of your craft comes from just practicing your craft, you're challenged.
Yeah,
weather-wise.
In full swing wise, the indoor facility can do everything you need it to do. It's the short game aspects, the putting, the chipping, that stuff that's hard to do in the winter. We are putting a new putting green in the indoor building, which will help our putting. Chipping and hitting longer pitch shots are still a little more challenging, just because in the indoor building you always have a perfect lie. It's always level. It's always the easiest case scenario when as soon as you get outside, first chip you hit, it's feet are above the ball, the lie's not great. So that's the hardest aspect of it, is just the off of a flat surface and a perfect lie, chipping can correlate pretty good from indoor to outdoor. But ball sitting down a little bit, ball's a little bit above your feet. Okay, that's stuff we can't work on inside. That's the stuff that takes a little while to kind of get back into the swing of things, which the fall season's great because they should be practicing all summer. They compete some in the summer. Like, we should be pretty good, ready to roll in the fall. The hard part is championship season's in the spring, and sometimes we don't get outside until the we don't get to practice outside until maybe a couple weeks or not even at all before the conference tournament. So mostly just short game. That's the hardest part to simulate. Full swing, yardages, that stuff's easy. The short game, which unfortunately is most of your scoring, that's the harder part to simulate. But we're coming up with new ways to try and solve that and be more ready when we do go out in the spring.
Mm-hmm. I know from kind of following along and whatnot with your progress that there's no wind in the indoor facility, right? And it just seems like so many of these venues where you're playing, there's just wind is just this massive factor.
Yeah, especially in the first couple spring events there. Arizona in February and March is just windy. And even April it starts to get a little bit better, but that's just a factor and that can be mitigated some in the indoor building by working on hitting lower shots and things like that. It's still not the same when you're standing. We need to get some big fans or something to blow on them so it feels like you're actually hitting into a 20-mile-an-hour breeze. But a lot of that stuff, we can work on it in the indoor building. This is a shot you'll need to hit in this scenario. Now, it gets harder to execute it. It's a lot easier to do it into a screen than it is when there's some pressure on the line. But that's just always going to be something that is the cool part about golf, is you never know what you're going to get. And if you're willing to kind of grind, there's a lot of people that when the weather gets bad, you can basically write them off. Like, they're done. They don't want to be here. But if we can instill that, hey, we don't have anywhere better to be. Let's go make the best out of the scenario. You can have some really good finishes, and you're just scrapping it around the golf course. It doesn't look pretty, doesn't look great, but at the end of the day, you've done pretty well.
Mm-hmm. I know from talking with some of the ladies this kind of period of time where just this going into the indoor facility in the dark in the middle of winter. What are your best coach motivating techniques to deal with, again, another one of those realities of these girls are going to yet another kind of training session
indoors, no sun
in the dark. It's cold out. It's snow.
Luckily, we've been able to, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we can push it back a little bit, so we're not getting up quite so early, as long as our class schedules work with it. But we really, in the past few years, haven't had much of a putting chipping setup in there. So you're pretty much just dictated to the two simulators. Okay, we can hit a couple short putts, but that's it. Whereas this year we'll have, I think it's going to be 24 by 22 putting green that we're putting in. So instead of just having the simulators, we're just hitting balls, just working on wedges. Now we'll be able to actually kind of simulate some. There won't be big breakers or anything like that, but we'll have a facility that we can work pretty hard on putting. So that'll help a lot, where it won't just be hitting balls every day into the screen. It will be, okay, we can do some putting drills, we can do some chipping drills, and we can hit some full shots. So it should be a lot easier to not get into that same mundane routine of okay, here's what the distances we're working on today, here's distances we're working on tomorrow. We'll actually be able to. There may be days where all we do is putt. So that'll be a very nice change of pace. And we try not, I mean, we get in there as much as we need to, but we try not to overdo it in the sim either, because it can get monotonous of, okay, we're showing up mid-January, and then basically until, if we're lucky, first couple weeks of March, it's the same thing every day. So we try and kind of find that balance of like, this is how much we need to do. It's okay if they have a couple more off days to just get out and away from the indoor building.
Yeah. Versus a lot of your opponents who don't have to face that, right?
Right.
They get the opportunity to just go outside and play.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But I mean, coming to Montana that you're going to have some December, January, February aren't going to be great. Mm-hmm. And I think simulators are becoming more mainstream now. They become more affordable. More people have them. So people, even from hot weather climates now, are kind of like, oh, instead of going and hitting balls and it's 110 and 90% humidity, why don't we just go to the indoor and hit some balls in there today? So it's becoming a little more mainstream, and people, I think the newer golfers coming in are much more used to working on simulators for a stretch of time. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's helped to some extent. And then we're getting better at kind of understanding what really works in the sim and what doesn't translate. So we're figuring that out. But by signing up to come to school in Montana, you're pretty much understanding the fact that, yeah, from January till end of February, we're going to be inside.
Yeah. There's a lot of other upsides for coming here.
Yep, absolutely.
Any recruit that might be listening.
Yes, absolutely. Like this time of year through nowadays, almost November, we're outside playing golf, and then it's pretty normal first part of March now. We're out and getting to play golf. So, and it beats, we get to practice year round, and if it's hot, it's 92 outside versus a lot of places it's 110 right now. So
yeah,
I would much rather have the pleasant April, May, June, July, August, September, October, even parts of November, where, yeah, okay, you deal with the cold for a little bit, but you can always put more clothes on. When it's 115, nobody wants to be outside. So
yeah,
a lot more pros than cons.
Absolutely. So, Coach, appreciate you making the time to come in, chat with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That's going to wrap up this episode. Shout outs to Scott Matheson at the Recording Center here in Missoula for his post-production work, and Tommy Martino for his awesome photographs that we get to include. And I'm going through his portfolio then to grab some great golf shots that we'll throw in on this one as well. Until then, take care, and we will see you next time on the MGLP.
Awesome. Thank you.